effing nervous. Let's roll. Uh-oh. What the hell? What the hell? Okay, pimp in the box. Hold on, you guys. Crap. So I'm trying to figure out how to get my Yeti to work. There we go. We got the Yeti microphone up. What up, silly jinx? Brothers. Okay. So we're gonna have ChatGPT attempt to teach me how to program in Python. Now, Python's actually the one language I never took the time to learn. It's a good, honestly, from what I've been able to see, people are able to do a lot of good work with Python. And honestly, anytime a programming language can make my life easier, I like it. Especially with automated tasks and things like that. So we got Silly Jinx in the chat. What up, dude? Silly Jinx changed his profile. That's cool. Hell yeah, dude. That's a smart move. All right, so I'm trying to make ChatGPT turn me into a Python expert. Now, I've already kind of gone over this. I got VS Code set up. I did a quick hello world test to make sure. I didn't realize that I should have saved. So you have to save the file first, then you run it. I was an idiot. I didn't even save it. So if you want to test it out, we could do print function, and then we'll just do one more test for the best. I am the GOAT. All right. We'll file, save it as, save, and then we'll boop. Run it in the terminal. It says one more test for the best one. Boop, 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 boop. Yep, I'm the GOAT. Yep. And it did it all in new lines, which is really dope. Silly Jinx says I'm an animal expert, not an AI expert. I will say that I am curious to see how well, I don't use ChatGPT very often to tutor me, but I thought, wouldn't it be interesting if I use ChatGPT as a tutor to get me a little more proficient in the Python programming language? You know, I'm proficient in Java. I wouldn't say I'm not going to give myself too much credit. I might be humbling myself. I don't know. I love C++. I love Java, but I will say that the syntax of this programming language is a little more loose with Python. I will admit Java and C++ definitely have stricter syntax codes for sure, but this is going to be entertaining. I don't know how stupid I'm going to be with this. I also don't use VS Code very often, but a lot of people seem to recommend VS Code, so getting that set up was kind of interesting. But I like VS Code. It's not bad. Took me like about 5 minutes to get Python all squared away on here. So 24-hour power sprint, practical end-to-end. So the outcome says you'll write clean Pythonic scripts, hit web APIs, parse data, build a tiny fast API service, add tests and types, and ship a CLI. Interesting. Setup and Pythonic mindset. So I installed Python 3.12. Check. I'm using a Windows device, by the way. I'm not using like what do you call it? Give me a second. I'm not using it's coming to me. I'm not using Linux. I'm strictly just using Windows and VS Code, which honestly, VS Code and Windows, I mean, if you're wanting to just program some stuff, I mean, VS Code is solid. I've become kind of a VS Code fan overall. I like the fact that, Microsoft actually did a really good job making a good IDE. I think I can't remember what IDE stands for. Something independent development environment or integrated development environment. Yes. I just thought it'd be fun to experiment with Python, considering it's a really good language when it comes to using data sets. I hear it's a great language for doing interesting things with data, and it just makes life easier. There's just, I guess it's one of those high-level languages that's just way popular, and honestly, I think if I got proficient in Python, that would open me up to an interesting career. You know, I'm pretty sure there are people out there who need people who understand Python and what it can do. And I think, you know, I want to see if ChatGPT can teach me how to be, you know, extremely proficient in this. I mean, time will tell. How many of you guys actually use GPT as a tutor? Because I will say GPT has been very valuable to me in other aspects, mainly as a consultant and, you know, double checking my work. But whatever you make, ever you got, whatever you want, well, I'll take back again. Nick says he uses Grok. Are you saying that you just use AI to make all your code? I mean, guess you can technically, but it's possible that honestly, human beings will not need to be software developers because the AI will be so proficient in its own development that it may even be able to expand upon its own programming, which I hear is already happening. Crazy. Is Grok pretty... Wait, you see GROQ. Oh, okay. So you use Grok to tutor you. So I pay $20 per month for ChatGPT, and honestly, it's been so valuable to me. But we'll see how well ChatGPT teaches me Python. If there's any Python experts, by the way, who are actually good at the programming language, you know, butt in at any time. We want to hear your voice. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. So, all right, so we already got VS Code set up. I already ran a Hello World program, just a very simple one, just to make sure everything's working. Tools, pip install, Python, PyTest. Okay, so I already got pretty much Python's all set up because I was able to do a Hello World example. Let's see. Day 7, serious track, advancing toward expert. So outcome is professional habits, deeper internals, performance packaging, and one polished capstone. Day 1 is Pythonic foundations. So Pythonic foundations, all of block 1 and 2 above, plus idioms, comprehensions, unpacking, context managers, iter tools, func tools, .lru cache, practice refactor a few imperative loops into Pythonic one-liners, readability first, and then day 2 is types, tests, and design, PyTest, fixtures, parameterize, coverage, property-based test, hypothesis, optional, MyPy strictness, data classes versus Pydantic. This is interesting. So some of these, I'll admit, it's been a while since I've done any software programming. Oh, Jim B, man, object-oriented programming is a godsend. It's a lot easier. It can be once you get used to it. It takes a little bit of time to get used to object-oriented programming stuff. But let's just start with the first lesson, I guess. We'll kind of just jump into it, So do this now. Create a project in an environment in Windows. I already created one. Let's see. Bat, Tool, scripts activate, install. Well, since I already got VS Code running, so technically let's copy this and we'll see what happens when we test this out. Test out the code, we'll save it. Just to make sure that what it's given is working. No module name rich. What? What if we get rid of that module? Let's try that again. Python is ready. Yeah, so it looks like it's good. I mean, I was able to copy paste that into there. Obviously, I should be typing this code in to get used to the syntax. So I'm going to actually copy this code. All right, so let's see if I can type this code out and get used to the style. So the goal here is to get used to the Python style, is really what it boils down to. How do I open things? Oh, there's sidebars open, okay. We're going to kind of shrink this window a little bit so I have an easy way to see. I'm going to shrink this a little bit too. And so that way you guys can see. So what we're going to do is we're going to get used to typing out or getting used to thinking in Python. So path, library, import path. Now, in ChatGPT is saying from rich import print. However, the system couldn't find the rich library that it was referring to, so we're just going to skip that. I am going to actually... I'm still going to type it in just in case. From rich import print. Like I said, the whole goal about typing this out is to get used to it. Def top underscore words text and n equals 3. Hold on, n equals 3. And let's see. This is kind of fun though. Interesting experience. So from collections, like I said, this is really the first time I've taken the time to truly learn Python. I've taken the time to learn everything. Well, I wouldn't say everything else, but other programming languages. But I just think that Python is just one of those I think is going to be pretty handy to know. There's just my instinct on it. And the more I read up on it, it just seems like it's one of the more popular ones. Mainly because it's the most easy to read is really what it boils down to, is readability. Let's see. Dot lower. So words dot lower for W in text dot split, and then blah blah blah. We got that. Let's see what else we got. Whatever whoa. We're learning a little bit of Python. I'm trying to get. This is the first time I'm having ChatGPT teach me how to do how to think in Python as well. It's always interesting to learn a new programming language. I'm one of those guys that just nerds out on this shit, so it gets me kind of erect. I get pretty sprung learning something new, and we're going to see what we can pull off. Well, I'm a high school graduate, and professionally, I've done customer service for about 13 years, and I was an ace at it. I was until I got canned by management, who treated me unfairly, and they were terrible to me. And there's no holding me back. But yeah, we're just kind of typing out everything, making sure we get used to thinking. The whole goal, because you could copy paste by all technicality, but honestly, you don't learn anything from simply copying and pasting. While you're typing it out, you're thinking. Like, for instance, I'm thinking about, like, what does each of these do? W for W in words, if W. Okay. Point most common. And then N. And then if, hold on, name is equivalent to main, print bold, green, and then Python is ready. Now, I think one of the functions, the rich one, it makes it to where you can maybe add more color to this, to the print of it. I'm not sure. And then we got, I think this is an escape sequence here. And we'll see if the beauty about printing out these these examples, typing them out, is that you can at least get a real idea on how hello world, just kind of world. This is a funny little example. World. All right. So this is a hello world program, basically. Let's try printing it out. And hold on, let me save it first. You got to save. When you're using VS Code, you got to save it first. Okay, let's try it again. So there's no module named rich. I'm going to let ChatGPT know that I got this error, and maybe this is one thing I like about having ChatGPT as a tutor. If I have a blind spot and I don't know what I'm doing, I'm not going to lie. GPT can really help out in these sorts of scenarios. Okay, so let me try this real quick. Oh. It just installed it. Well, that was quick. It's like it read my mind. What the hell? Okay, I guess we could try running the program again now that it's got the rich library. So now that it's got the rich library, will it completely run this? No module. What? You just saved it, and you just installed it. Hold on. All right, let's try this again. Oh, okay, I didn't actually install it. Okay, so in order to upgrade this, I actually need to put this in the command line. We'll copy paste this hopefully. Okay, it looks like it's collecting the packages and successfully installed. That's really cool. Okay, never mind. So we should be able to use now the rich library. I'm going to keep the command prompt open just in case. Let's file save just in case, and then let's try running this again. What do you mean? There is a module. Run the Python file. Save it again. How about this? Let's do a new terminal. New terminal. Run Python file. How is that possible? I think it's good. Look, the one thing that's great about programming, and one thing that I've learned in one of the reasons why I'm so good at figuring things out is because in programming, in my learning of it, it's taught me a lot of lessons in logic, and it's actually made me more logical, surprisingly. But let's see. Maybe I need to run it in this instead of... Okay, maybe it's better that I just run it in the terminal instead. Let's try that. Let's just run it straight in the terminal. Okay, so it's already good. All right, let's save it. Play it. Okay, let's just close out of VS Code. Maybe it needed a restart. I don't know.
Power off.
I think, look, I want this to be pretty. You know, I want to know how to install libraries when I need them. So let's get VS Code back up real quick. Save what we got. We already saved it. Let's try this again. Let's install Rich. That's what we probably need to do. Let's try that. It's actually kind of frustrating, man, because it's like I want to make sure that I'm printing this out. Still can't find it. So, I mean, either way, we don't technically need the Rich library, but I want this to work, you know? I mean, I wouldn't mind. So I want to make a dividend safety score calculator, ultimately. I want to make something that can calculate the relative safety of a dividend stock. I'm going to try to use an API, of course, to get the necessary data. And I want to make something that kind of gives an opinion based on financial data and dividend history and stuff. But, you know, obviously past performance does not equal future results, but it can project potential future results depending on how the business has been operated. So, you know, nothing's ever a guarantee. Go to the command line again. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. Well, I don't know what I'm doing. May have to abort this here in a bit, but yeah, I've got zero clue on what I'm doing here. Yeah, here's the thing, man. Dividend safety score calculator would be fun. Just plug in the ticker symbol of the stock, and obviously the program will gather the necessary data that it needs from hopefully a free API service. Most API services that let you gather financial data from stocks typically cost a lot. So it may not. There are a few free alternatives out there, but it may not be worth it. Ultimately. So if we comment out this, like if we just do a quick comment, we comment it out. Oh, wait. Does it not allow comments? I don't understand why that's invalid syntax. That makes zero sense. Yeah, so either way, I mean, it'll run without. But really, the whole idea behind that is to kind of turn the colors different and to, make it a little more rich in flavor, and it just sucks. When I'm learning something for the first time, and I've always kind of struggled with VS Code, I'm not going to lie. It's not the easiest thing for me to use. Maybe I've been spoiled by other integrated development environments, but like the IDEs and stuff. But so I think I might need to uninstall Python, is what I'm thinking, because the way I did install it in a very interesting way, a way that is likely not conducive to success on this one. Oh. Give me a second, you guys. I gotta figure this one out. So I'm going to remove Python entirely, and then I'm going to reinstall it. I think my problem is I didn't make the Python path exe. I didn't check that, and I guess supposedly it's a good idea to check that. I think it's an environmental mismatch. So I'm just going to uninstall the whole thing. I'm just going to uninstall Python, and then I'm just going to reinstall it. So I'm going to give it a second. While I'm waiting for Python to uninstall, I'm gonna get some mac and cheese. Oh, it looks like it is uninstalled. Hold on. Okay, so I checked the core boxes that needed to be checked. Alright, sorry about that, everybody. I was cooking some macaroni and cheese. I put some sausage. Heck yeah, you get it. I'm wearing the same outfit I did yesterday. Hell yeah. All right, I'm going to get VS Code working again. Let's try this one more time. Let's try this again. Nope, still not working. All right, let's Python. All right, let's try this again. Invalid syntax. All right, well, we're going to have to go. Fuck. I'm a little bit of a dum-dum with this stuff. Let's just select interpreter. Global. There we go. All right, let's try this again. It worked! Oh my god! We did it, you guys. We did it. We finally did it. We finally did it, everybody. We were able to get the rich path to work, and we were able to get the first through extensive troubleshooting. I reinstalled Python, but I made sure that the path of python.exe was available in the path. I did it. I did it. Oh my god. Woo! I'm the man, dude. I'm the man. I'm the man. I work for big tech. Dude. Duval. I'm so stoked, dude. I'm not going to show you guys what I did precisely. I'm just going to explain to you guys. So what I did was I went into VS Code. Well, what I did was I went to Python. I had to uninstall Python because the way I installed it was crap. So I just uninstalled it completely, reinstalled Python, made sure that the path to exe was on there. The python.exe path was within the path. And then in VS Code, what I did, because I wanted to make sure I was using, the right, the right libraries that ChatGPT is recommending, and I was able to make the text very pretty. So, for example, if I want to change the text on this one, I can make it to where instead of bold green, I could do bold brown, maybe. We'll see what happens. We'll save it, and then we'll see if we can make the text brown. So I wasn't able to make it brown. But it did say bold green was usable. Maybe I just need to make it green? Let's try just green. What about brown? Oh no, hold on. Brown. It's fun to tweak with programs a little bit. Okay, so I got to make it bold green. I think I have to make it bold green at the beginning to make all the words bold green. Bold green. Let's try that one more time. I don't know why the other ones are bold green, though. Is it just a residual? Oh, I see. Hold on. So I don't really know how to change the... Oh. What's that calling from? W strip. Got it. W text split. Good. Import counter. I will admit the syntax for this is way different than I'm used to. I'm used to stricter language format. So, bro is gatekeeping how to change the font on my... Now, it's fun, though. I'm using VS Code. Installed Python successfully, shockingly enough. And I'm able to interpret the Python code really well. This is fun. I mean, it's learning... tweaking with different, what do you call it? Tweaking with different programming languages is really entertaining. So yeah, I was able to get the result I needed. That's kind of cool. So that was the first test program. Let's see what's on the docket for the rest of this. And I'm not trying to copy and paste the code. I will admit, installing Python was a lot easier than I expected. So here's another lesson. So and this is ChatGPT teaching me all this. This is all from ChatGPT directly. Micro lessons, 10 to 15 minutes, hands-on task, 20 to 30 minutes, review and refactor. So ChatGPT saying, I'll give you the exact commands, starter snippets, and a checklist. You paste the output errors, and I'll debug and push you to expert habits. Nice. Very good. What about PyTorch? I don't know much about Python at all when it comes down to it. To be honest, this is a programming language that's, if I'm going to be honest, fairly native to me. Not native, sorry. Foreign to me. I'm sorry you ate something pretty rough, Liz. Sorry I'm not showing you guys the screen. Honestly, it's just tough to show anything on a vertical. And I want to be present on the screen to some degree, so... Who's my favorite Bond? Besides James Bond, it's the BND. It's the World U.S. Bond Market. Yeah. But yeah, this is cool. So I was able to get my first program out of the way and do fancy text with it. Really neat. Really neat. Collections, import, counter. So let's see here. Micro lessons, lesson 1, Python's mental model, 5 core idioms. 69 minutes is to think in Python, not just write Python. You'll practice small patterns you'll use every day. Mental model, read this once. Everything is an object. Names point to objects. A equals B. Binds the same object to 2 names. Is checks identity. 2 equal signs equals checking the value. Basically, is it equivalent to each other? Are they both equivalent to each other? Mutability matters. Lists, dict sets are mutable. Tuples, strings, integers are not. Passing objects to functions. Object sharing, not copying. iteration protocol from X in XS. Let's see, calls in iter XS. Let's see, repeatedly. Comprehensions build from this. Truthiness. If thing uses Boolean lens, see, empty containers are false. Errors are normal. So errors are normal control flow. It's easier to ask forgiveness than permission. Try it. Handle exceptions. Let's see. The 5 idioms you'll use constantly in Python. This is all what ChatGPT is teaching me, by the way. One moment, folks. One moment. Yeah, so we got some smoked sausage in the macaroni and cheese, which is interesting. Yeah, Pam Bondi's got to go, brother. Yeah. But how's everybody doing? You guys want some macaroni stirring ASMR? I don't know if I can provide that right now. I just want to make sure it's all cooked. Dog eat dog, what up, G-Dog? Dog eat dog in the house, Brony brothers. Hell yeah. Can we give a big shout out to my boy from last night, the Strokers, by the way? Thank you, Dog Eat Dog. Whoa, dude, Dog Eat Dog is sending me tons of jewels, my boy. Thank you. 10 jewels, 10 jewels. That's almost $1. Floating heart, dude. Oh, my God. I'm getting spoiled by Dog Eat Dog, dude. Thank you, brother. My brony brother. Hell yeah. Okay, I could probably get that. I could probably arrange that, you guys. I understand you guys want some of that, juicy goodness, obviously. But yeah, ChatGPT's teaching me Python, man. This is cool. So the five idioms you'll use constantly in Python. One is comprehensions. You know, squares equal n times n for n in nums, blah blah blah. So you'll be doing a lot of interesting stuff. Let's see. Enumerate, zip, sorted keys. Let's see. For I, line in, enumerate, lines 1, pairs list, zip. Wow, some interesting stuff. I won't go over the whole code of it, but this is interesting. Actually, I'm going to tag this code into the program and see what happens. I'm not going to type it out, though. I'm just going to see what happens if it errors out. Oh, that's more of an example. Never mind. It's not true. Yeah, so overall, the one thing I like about Python, one of my favorite aspects about this programming language from what I'm able to learn is the readability of it. I am used to stricter syntax at the end of the day, so it's very difficult for me to get into something with such... I'm afraid it'll make me a kind of a crappier programmer, but then again, I don't know. I think what sucks is I might be so used to strict programming languages, it's going to be tough. But, you know, I mean, thinking in different ways, different syntaxes can be kind of fun. And, you know, luckily I got a good IDE. VS Code is a great integrated development environment, so you could do so much with it. Software as a service? I don't know. Hey, I mean, it's okay to... I mean, hey, if you're a good swing trader, I mean, you don't really need to... The way I look at it is if you got a lot of money put into a specific ETF, I mean, you could do just about anything, man. Sky's the limit, brother. I'm just curious to see how much Bitcoin did. Oh. Bitcoin, my click coin, dude. Bitcoin dipped. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Bitcoin sucks ass. Holy crap, Oli. Absolutely selling like 3 shares right now. Sell 3, when do limit share, $29. Damn, dude. Damn, Bitcoin crashed. So, I mean, I'm glad it did because it just made me a lot of money. That's wild. It's good for the day. Submitted, good for the day. Let's see. It's at $29 per pop, a pop. Trying to sell 3 shares at $29 a pop here for SBIT. If I could pull that off, man, damn. Whew. Unreal. Okay, I did it. I sold them for $29 a pop. That is a spanking deal, dude. Damn. Yep, I unloaded them $29 a pop, and let's see. Is Bitcoin going back up? And look, Bitcoin sucks, dude. I'm just going to tell you guys that right now. One of the reasons I bet against Bitcoin is just because of how bad it is. I was able to just offload. Yeah, I just made a really good amount of money, dude. See, that's the one thing I love about swing trading is you can make, especially something as volatile as like the SBIT, for example, because Bitcoin is, as we all say on the channel, clickcoin. Bitcoin is garbage, and you know, that's one of the major battle cries of this channel is just how stupid Bitcoin is. Yeah, 3 shares at $29, and then here's the thing: if SBIT goes down, It's one of those I definitely feel comfortable buying on the dip for sure. Let's see, where's VT going? VT's going back up. Got 134. Damn, dude, the markets are crashing. I might have to do a video later about this. Damn. Let me do a limit buy 134.99. Let's do a limit buy 134.99. 134.99. Limit order 134.99. 134.99. Let's buy one. See, I'm actually buying some more Vanguard Total World Index at a cheaper price. Oh wow, I got it for 134.80. I was able to buy it even lower. See, this is why I love buying on the dip. Whenever there's a sell-off in any stocks, and especially big ETFs like that, whenever there's a massive sell-off that happens, everybody's trying to unload. So they're even unloading their positions at lower prices than they should. So I'm able to get, like, I just got a really good deal on the Vanguard Total World Index just for one share. 134.80. Wow. That's absolutely incredible. I'm curious to see if I can unload a couple more. Now, should I? The question is, should I? So here's the thing, man. Bitcoin, because it's been so integrated into the financial system at this point, since there's spot ETFs and stuff, Bitcoin crashes can happen very quickly. But damn, dude, I'm honestly shocked. How much did the ad? Because I want to see officially how much the S&P 500 dipped. S&P 500. Let me see how it dipped. Holy smokes. Dude. S&P, man. Dude, dog eat dog. I don't know if I want to follow your tricks. You crazy bastard. Thank you, dog eat dog. I appreciate you though, brother. Oh wow, the S&P 500 dipped 2.71% in a day. Okay. I mean, hey, look, it's been going up like crazy. There needs to be a bit of a correction. I expected this to eventually happen. So I've just been buying the dip on the VT. As much as I can, at least. Damn. 34.80. Yeah, I was able to buy that lower. But yeah, I'm racking up on Vanguard. So I like I said, I'm going to be swing trading Vanguard Total World Index a little bit more for some extra cash, which I think is good, by the way. It's good to swing trade something so stable. Now, I will say this though, SBIT, because of how violently it swings, I mean, there's a lot of upside to it, especially since Bitcoin's a Ponzi scheme, right? One moment. All right, just as you a-holes requested, I'll do that macaroni ASMR, but I better get some super chats for this. Let me see here. Yeah, I better get some super chats for this. Let's go. So macaroni and smoked sausage right here. But yeah, we got, we learned a little bit about Python today. Created a successful Hello World program with the assistance of GPT tutoring me, which is really great. I plan on doing some tutoring in private with GPT. Hopefully GPT doesn't try to touch me inappropriately. But, we're really excited about this. And here's the thing, man. I understand Bitcoin, but I understand it's a Ponzi scheme. You see, the thing is, just because I hate on Bitcoin doesn't mean I don't understand it. In fact, it's because the more I understand about Bitcoin, the more I know about it, the more I realize that it's a Ponzi scheme, a decentralized one at that has no intrinsic value. So I can't be on board with that. And look, Bitcoin's a cool piece of software, but it's not revolutionary. It's not changing the world. Trust me, it's not changing the world. That's some good smoked sausage, you guys. Hell yeah. Guys know me, man. I love my sausage. Yeah. Gonna eat in front of you guys real quick. Olive Olive says, yes, I would like to pay my electricity bill in Bitcoin, said no one ever. Dude, the fact that, nobody really takes Bitcoin seriously at the end of the day. The only people who take Bitcoin seriously are isolated tech bros that are disconnected and out of touch. Yeah. If the world starts accepting Bitcoin as a currency, then the world's already fucked at that point. The fact that Bitcoin is at all-time highs is proof positive that we live in clown world, so. Bitcoin's ridiculous, man. Look, the software's great, but intrinsically, its value is worthless. Completely worthless. Thank you for becoming a new subscriber, though. I'm Coast to Oregon, baby. That's a great one, Olive. I appreciate that one, man. Damn, you're very sexy. Bye, random player. Have fun, man. Look at that. The old hot dogs and macaroni, man. So good. But yeah, this one's a smoked sausage one. It's really good. I probably could have put 2 sausages, but I was like, one should be fine. Random player, trust me. I mean, who knows? Maybe you got into Bitcoin really early because you're an isolated person, but that's okay. Sometimes you got to get into it. I'm from America, baby. Coast of Oregon. Olive is asking, no ketchup in that mac? Dude, no. You. People put ketchup in macaroni and cheese? Hell no. Look, ketchup belongs on burgers and sandwiches. And used it for French fries, by the way. No. Pastor, I'll play the quiet game if you give me a super chat. I'll go quiet for as long as anybody wants me to. Ketchup and mayo. Yeah, that's a good combo, actually. For fries. I'm not much of a mayonnaise guy, but I will admit, ketchup and mayo are actually pretty solid. Without a doubt. My brony brothers. Damn, you're very sexy. Pastor, I don't really give 2 craps what you do. You do you, boo. You do you. If it helps you out, you mute it. I don't care. That's okay. Pastor muted the live, everybody. How can we live without his viewership? I don't know. I guess we'll figure that out. That was really good. Yep. Good old sausage, man. Get some bread real quick. People want to see the show. Okay, so we're going to do some exercises here. Interesting. Oh, this is cool. So this is going to be a data interpretation one. So we're going to do a new file. Do a Python file. And we're going to name it. What are we going to name it? Save as. And we're going to save it as extension. There we go. Exercises. Yep. It's cool that what you could do with data sets in Python, which is one of the things that I really like about it. So for example, you can use Python, the functions in Python itself, to analyze like CSV files and try to have it understand and interpret the data in different ways. And what's really cool is ChatGPT is tutoring me in the art of being a great Python developer. Well, not developer, programmer, software developer, Python's actually one of those programming languages that I've, always been interested in, but never took the time to learn it. Because I've always been mainly concentrated on programming language that are a little more old school, but are still effective. Like, not intentionally, of course, but like Java used to be the in thing. I got pretty familiar with Java and its library base, and did what I needed to do with it. But I got to admit, using Python's a little bit interesting. It's a looser language. There's no semicolons afterwards. You just do a new line. The Eagle says, Mike loves a good Python. Diddy gives autism. What the hell? Hashtag Tylenol Mike's food is, I'll say it, not good. I might be the result of too much Tylenol. I don't know. Doesn't it say, here's the thing on the Tylenol bottle, doesn't it say that women who are pregnant shouldn't be taking it anyway? Like, isn't there a warning label on Tylenol itself that suggests that pregnant women shouldn't take it? So in a weird way, Trump's not wrong. Is it like detrimental for the fetus though at the end of the day? I don't know. I have no idea. But, if it says that pregnant women shouldn't take it, there's probably something to it. There's probably some studies that would suggest that it may not be good for the fetus. I'm surprised they don't actually allow women to take other types of... Aren't there other drugs that would be safer than Tylenol? What about, CBD, for example? You'd think that, CBD would probably be a healthy alternative, you know what I mean? I have two sides of me. I've got the clean face and I've got the makeup face, and I usually save the makeup face for later on in the night, if you know what I mean. I get all sexy. I get sexified. I get very cute. A lot of people definitely show up for the clown face, though, for sure, without a doubt. Without a doubt, man. Hell yeah. Well, look, I think if Tylenol it is, but man, they should, if there is evidence to support that Tylenol could be bad for the fetus, maybe there should be more research into safer alternatives than Tylenol. I mean, that's a reasonable request. You know what I mean? There's got to be a safer alternative than Tylenol. Tylenol at the end of the day is not, it's not going to be the end all be all of the fetus. In fact, it could help in certain ways, but as somebody, I'm pretty freaking sure I'm autistic. I don't know. I'll have to ask my mom how much Tylenol she consumed when I was, but it would be interesting to see if because my mom says that she took a bunch of Tylenol, then that explains the autism. If she didn't, then maybe I don't know. I'm just effective. But yeah, overall, it's like, come on. Yeah. I don't know. If it turns, here's the thing. Let's say, play devil's advocate here a little bit. Let's say Tylenol actually does, let's say there's a good chance that it does cause autism. I'm pretty autistic. I don't like actually being autistic. Between the choice of death and autism, I guess, I don't know. Being autistic has not been easy for me, man. I don't know. Sometimes here's what I think. Me personally, I think sometimes it takes I think some of that research gets what's the term? I think some of the research that shows that it causes autism gets buried. It gets buried by big pharma. You know what I mean? But here's the thing, man. For me personally, I don't know. I don't know why everybody's dying on this hill. Everybody, the moment I mentioned that, what if? What if because there are certain things we don't find out until later on because the research was suppressed, the data was manipulated. Think about it. What is the main ingredient in Tylenol? Acetaminophen. Okay. Really, let's make a thought experiment out of this. Let's take emotion out of this. Now, obviously it helps. Does it help the fetus, though, is the question. Could it be causing more harm than good to the fetus? And that's where it gets interesting. Eagle, that's not fair. You should be able to have hypothetical discussions. You should be able to research things. And it makes me wonder, what sort of crap was my mom taking? Was my mom drinking when I was, that matters. Well, here's the thing, though. What I'm curious about what were the incentives? Who paid for the research? You know what I mean? Because if it's big pharmaceutical companies paying these laboratories to do these researches, and then these laboratories are basically instructed to create false data or data that sided with big pharma. I mean, like, let's say what is the reality? You know, is the reality that it actually does cause autism? Like, that should be considered. Like, could it be more detrimental to the fetuses? And could we be creating an entire generation of autistic people? And I would say that might not be a good thing. And by the way, I actually think Trump is autistic, oddly enough. And it's possible that he, just like myself, don't want to see a world full of autistic people because maybe he understands just how much of a struggle it is to be autistic, even if you're a high functioning autistic person. I think the thing that sucks about high functioning autism is that you're aware of your autism and it eats you alive at the core. And so for me personally, I mean, if Tylenol really is, and I think it should be considered and more research should still be done to try to figure this out. And we need to look at who is funding the research, you know, there may be tons of research papers, but who at the end of the day is backing the funding of this research? And not all scientists, I don't know if there's like there's not like any Hippocratic oath equivalent in the scientific community as far as I know. But why not? Why not consider it? It's not like I'm saying the earth is flat. You know what I mean? There's plenty of evidence to show the earth is round, right? Plenty. And from varying sources. But when it comes to Tylenol, I don't know. I think it should be up for debate. I think it should be still researched, you know? Oh, I'm not talking about politics here. I'm talking about pharmaceutical companies. Who is paying for the research? Like, who is paying for the research? Is it Pfizer? Is it Johnson & Johnson? Who's paying for the research? Because obviously acetaminophen products, you know, there's a lot of different companies that make various acetaminophen products. So you got to consider a few factors here. Think about this. If all of them had a hand in funding this research, wouldn't it be interesting to conclude that some of the data could be flawed or manipulated? Now, to be honest, I'm not too sure if Tylenol causes autism or just acetaminophen in general. But, I mean, there is a pattern. I mean, I guess you could actually ask the question, when was Tylenol invented? And is there a correlation? Let's actually ask AI. When was Tylenol invented? Okay, so Tylenol came out in 1955. Okay. When did the rise in autism start to occur? The significant increase in autism diagnoses began in the 1990s and has continued to rise dramatically, particularly in the 21st century. This upward trend is not attributed to a single cause, but it is largely due to broadened diagnostic criteria, increased public awareness. It is possible that the screening back in the day may not have been very good, but I will admit, you know, you don't see like a crap ton of autistic old people. Like, think about it. How many like severely autistic people, old people, have you ever met? You know what I mean? Not too many. And it makes you wonder, it's like, what, and we have more chemical options these days than were given back in the day. I'm not saying Tylenol's the only thing. I think there's other sources of that cause autism. I think some of the chemicals we put in our body, some of the foods that the mothers may be eating could be causing a problem. It does say the upward trend is not attributed to, let's see, key milestones behind the diagnostic increase. 1980, autism is recognized as a distinct disorder. The third edition of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual for Mental Disorders defined autism as separate from schizophrenia for the first time. Oh, wow, they used to think that autism and schizophrenia were the same thing? Jeez. I mean, medicine's come a long way, don't get me wrong. This established specific criteria for diagnosis, leading to an initial increase in reported cases. Late 1980s diagnostic expansion, revisions to the DSM-3, let's see, in 1987. Expanded the definition of autism, a 1991 ruling by the U.S. Department of Education that allowed for special education services for children with autism diagnosis, incentivizing broader identification. 1994, the introduction of the spectrum introduced the concept of an autism. Yeah, let's see. How come autism seems more noticeable in my generation than in older generations? For example, I don't see a crap ton of old autistic people walking around. But I do, here's the thing, I don't know if Tylenol is, but here's the thing, like, you can tell who's autistic and who isn't. Like, I can tell by looking at me, I got a little something off with me. I even know looking in the mirror, I'm like, I look a little off. You know? Well, ChatGPT's, well, I'm actually using Gemini, which is woke, and I'm pretty sure ChatGPT is woke. No, but here's the thing. I think that it can find statistical correlations. Like I'm asking it the question right now. So several factors explain why autism appears more noticeable in your generation compared to older generations, including changes in diagnostic criteria. No, here's the thing. You could just tell when somebody's autistic. You can just tell. You just don't even have to take that much time to figure that out, right? When I look at a lot of older generations, I'm sorry, I don't see a lot of autistic people. Some, sure, you could tell there's a little something off with them. But let's see. No, I just think that it gives answers that are politically correct, and I'm still accepting what it gives me. I just think that what it's giving me might be a little too PC. It says older people with autism are not as visible in part because many went undiagnosed and were misdiagnosed throughout their lives. Okay, no, what I'm trying to say is you can just tell who is autistic by looking at them. It's a pretty easy, I mean, simply using the eye test. So I will ask again. Why do old people not seem autistic when my generation and Gen Z are riddled with autism, and it is obvious by the eye test they are autistic? Could it be microplastics? Maybe microplastics. Here's the thing. Could microplastics be making people autistic? Let's see. Based on scientific consensus, you cannot tell if... I'm sorry. You could do the eye test and kind of determine if somebody's autistic. There's a way that they speak. There's a way that they fixate on things. I know this mainly because I can tell I'm just a high-functioning autistic person. Yeah, I got Asperger's. I'm not going to like say that it's a strength of mine. Maybe it is. I don't know. My ability to be analytical does help, but I tend to hyperfixate on, certain things. But I try not to let it define me. So here's the thing, man. From let's see, autism people look like... See, here's the thing. So autism exists across all ethnicities, genders, and appearances. Any attempt to define an autistic look risks creating harmful and inaccurate stereotypes. I'm sorry, but it's pretty obvious. If you have the ability to if you have a set of eyes and you can talk to somebody for 5 minutes, you could tell if they're autistic or not. It's just pretty obvious, whether they're massively autistic or just partially. But I talk to old people, and some of them might be hard of hearing, but they seem like they got fairly decent brains even for their age. So my thing is, look, I don't know what the root cause of autism is really at the end of the day, but I'm gonna tell Gemini I am autistic and I have the ability to tell if someone is after speaking with them for 5 minutes. It is not hard to determine. It just isn't. I don't know. Maybe I just have the ability to read people a little bit better than most people. I don't know. Yeah, you guys, just like the Eagle said, don't forget to like and subscribe. Look, I'm not against autistic people. I want to make that very clear. I just think that if autism can be prevented, it should be prevented. You should not have a baby hoping that it's autistic. Trust me, the baby doesn't want to be autistic. I know I don't. Do you think I want to hyperfixate on stupid shit? Fuck no. I hate it. And what's worse is I'm aware of it. And the thing is, if you're on the Asperger scale, which is I'm lucky because that's basically, you're kind of on the border. So you're still basically a functioning person, but you still have some weird issues. And, yeah. I have a dude, like the Eagle just said, I have a gaydar for autism, yes. Therefore, basically what they're saying is what I described as a 5-minute assessment is likely a form of rapid pattern recognition based on your own autistic experience. You are able to identify a shared communication style, sense of humor, or other traits that others might miss, as you don't judge those behaviors negatively. Yeah. I mean, this is interesting. Even when somebody tries to mask their autism, though, I can usually tell somebody's autistic. It's not hard. Dude, I actually think these answers are bullshit, dude. You because it's saying, so here's the excuse it's giving. So the reason this ability does not apply to older generations, as you previously noted, is not because there's no autistic older people. Rather, the difference is due to decades of societal pressure on older generations to mask or hide their autistic traits to conform to neurotypical social norms. Many older autistic people went undiagnosed and spent their lives camouflaging their autistic selves, a process that is often stressful and exhausting. Here's the thing. I'm sorry, even when people try to mask it, it's pretty obvious. And I talk to older generations. I've talked to older people, and yeah, do some of them have some mental disorders? Sure, but they don't appear to be autistic disorders. So my question is, now I'm not even talking about Tylenol at this point. I want to know the root cause. Why do there seem to be so many autistic millennials in Gen Z? You know what I mean? Like, I know I am. I know I am for a fact. But let's see. But let's see. Can't trust anything. Probably fight his breath. The irony is, man, I've never done acid. The only problem I have is I think I'm autistic. No, not just I think. I mean, I was diagnosed by a therapist back in the day that I have Asperger's syndrome. And I'm not proud of it because I think it gets in the way. If we're going to be honest, I think autism, for the most part, it can be an advantage, but I try not to think about it. And when I hear, I think I think I'm pretty passionate about this because I have some skin in the game. And all I know is if I ever have a kid, I don't want him to turn out autistic like me. Screw that. I struggled a lot. It sucks being autistic, man. I'm not a fan of it. I guess there are some people who are okay with it and some people that personally can't handle it. And I'm just one of those people that struggle with it. But let's see. But I mean, I'm not going to beat a dead horse on this one. I am what I am, and I've come to admit that, accept who you are. Oh, Brad Ladkin saying liar. Oh, dude, Brad's back, dude. Oh, no. Brad, give me money. Who's Isaac? What are you guys talking about here? Oh, we talking about some biblical shit? Oh, we were talking about biblical characters. Okay. That's a good one, man. That's a good one. But who knows? I mean, we don't really know. But, honestly, though, think about it this way. If you take enough Tylenol, I mean, it can be, especially over time, it can be responsible for things like acute liver failure, things of that nature. Oh, Brad's here. You know what I got to do? Hold on. Oh. Head roll. Yeah, ChatGPT's been a pretty good teacher when it comes to teaching me Python, though. This has been pretty dope. Brad. My homie, dude. My homie. Brad Lagkin, dude. The GOAT. The greatest. This is the greatest of all time, man. Oh, my brony brothers. He had a... Brad, dude, my home dog. Give it up for Brad Lagkin, everybody. He's a firm supporter of the show. He's a friend of the show as well. Eagle's a friend of mine personally. So the Eagle is a friend of mine personally, and I don't know if he's an enemy of the show or not. I think the Eagle wants to terrorize the show. No, just kidding. Eagle is also a friend of the show, but he's a friend of mine first. And then Brad Lagkin is in love with me. Brad Lagkin thinks I'm cute, and he thinks I'm very sexy. Edward Lawrence, what's the answer to your question? Edward Lawrence, what is the answer? I don't know what the answer is. Oh, I think I know what the answer is, but I'm curious. What is your answer to that question? The question. Brad. Ugh. The Eagle wants me to work his fields. I might. The only problem is I might get taken away. What the heck? Doggy Dog says, what the fuck is this, a jelly fucking donut? You're not allowed to have jelly donuts, are you? Yeah, it's funny, man. Dog Eat Dog is my homie. It's good to see Dog Eat Dog back in the chat, though. What a stud. It's good to see the Eagle in the chat and Dog Eat Dog, the home dogs in the house. Brad wants to know, why do you have the same shirt and pants on, Garza? Well, because I have 7 pairs of the exact same shirt, and I also have like 2 pairs of the exact same shorts, and I wore the same shorts that I did yesterday. So, and I also decided to wear the same shirt I did yesterday. I was like, why not? Brad loves me, dude. Random player says, taken on a train in May. What the hell? What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? Well, let's see how many subscribers we've racked up. We call them simp subscribers on this channel. Not many. We've got some. Now, granted, we are talking today about we're talking about a topic that's not super duper popular, and that's just basically having AI teach me how to be a decent Python developer. But well, let's see. Doug from yeah. I always thought of myself as like a Skeeter kind of guy. Skeeter. AI is trying to teach me how to be a human. That's exactly it. But yeah, overall, it is fun to actually have AI tutor you in something that you're not super familiar with, especially with Python. And also, it's teaching me using like exercises and explaining the exercises, which is really cool. I'm juicy. Feeling chilly in here. A little tired too. I almost want to take a nap. I think I might have a Mountain Dew real quick. Brad, dude. Dude, I'm at 5,780 subs, dude. Dude, Brad, I'm at 5,780 subs, dude. What are you talking about? Brad loves me, man. Don't know why. Oh. Look, Brad is the king, dude. Brad has more subs. He's got a bigger schlong than I do. Brad's got it all, dude. Brad. What's up, Brad? Brad's our homie. Brad Lacken says 7 shirts and 2 pair of pants. You are in a hospice. Oh, man. Let's see. Dog Eat Dog says, Garza, you ever tongue punch a fart ball? Come on, Dog Eat Dog. Come on, man. Oh, geez. The Eagle says, I take that silence to mean that Mike has more simp subscribers. Eagle also says, so basically he could do anything Brad does, but it would be more popular just because Mike did it weird. I do a lot of weird shit. When I'm on camera, man, I want to have my freak flag fly as high as it can without showing my wee-wee. Let's see. Eagle also said, Brad says, I don't lie. Eagle says, I would have never guessed 10 years ago that people would be listening to you, Mike. People should be. Because I was telling Jordan the other day, my boy Nawatney, because he got weirded out that I was right about stuff. And I was like, sorry, I mean, I may be weird, but when I'm right, man. And I think it's, I think differently. That's my key. I don't think like other people. I think that if everybody's doing it, it's probably bad for me, and it's a good thing. But yeah, no, I mean, overall, I got to admit, I am not surprised whatsoever that I've gotten this far on YouTube. I mean, a little bit shocked at the amount of subscriber growth, to be honest. But at the same time, I had this vision, and that's why I kept working on my YouTube channel, because I had the vision. It was there. I was like, dude, I could do this. I got some talent. I may be weird, but I got talent, and I got the grift of gab. And I call it the grift of gab, not the gift of gab. It's more fun to call it the grift of gab. But I wouldn't say I'm popular. I'm pretty hated. I think at least more than half of my simp subscribers hate watch me. But I'm basically like the Logan Paul. I'm like a discounted version of Logan Paul. Everybody hates me, but they still want to subscribe to see what the hell I'm doing. And yeah. Exactly. Martin Luther Garza. Oh my God. Okay, first off, Dog Eat Dog, I'm not going to read that comment, but I know exactly what you're referring to. But yeah, no, I mean, the truth be told, I just studied marketing, and I believe in myself completely, 100%. I've had a lot of people say, "Hey, good luck with what you're doing." I've had a lot of people who just say that, like, who've had a pessimistic attitude towards it, excluding my dad. And a lot of the time, I'm just like, deep down in my head, I just know in my heart of hearts, I'm more talented than anybody's ever given me credit for. And I want people to underestimate me. I get off to it because I know that anytime anybody underestimates my technical abilities and technical skill, well, I was trained by the best, dude. Honestly, I'm not going to lie. I was trained by Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was actually one of my motivators for continuing to do the channel when I was starting to give up. And then also Donald Trump, but even before he was president, Think Like a Billionaire was honestly an incredible audiobook to listen to. And when I was like in a really bad funk, it was actually kind of uplifting, oddly enough. More of a spiritual book than one would ever realize. You don't really think about spirituality and Donald Trump in the same sentence, but Think Like a Billionaire was actually more of a spiritual book if you think about it. But no, actually, I didn't see the text that Kirk had sent to Candace before he died. No. Here we go. Oh. I got rid of my fake handlebar mustache for you, Trent. But yeah, one of the reasons I took my YouTube channel seriously was because, like I said, I've had a lot of people in my life who've doubted me. A lot of people who didn't think I would be able to make something of this, and for that, I had all the inspiration I needed right there. I was like, oh, people think I can't do it. Well, I know I can, and I know everybody who thinks I can't, they can go suck themselves. That's been my attitude the entire time. And guys like Kobe Bryant were another inspiration for me. Kobe was a huge inspiration for this show. I saw just the work he put into his basketball game, and I thought, well, shit. Well, I could probably, work on my presentation of the way I speak. I mean, I'm still not a very good speaker, but I'm better. But the more shows I do, the more live shows I do, the better. You're wrong. I'm not going to explain to you why I'm right. If you can't figure out why you're wrong, okay. I'll show you why you're wrong. And that's basically what I've been able to do with this channel, is show everybody why they're wrong. And yeah, it's the way it goes, man. So what really fuels the fire is Brad. Read my comments, boyo, said he. Kirk said no. I mean, that could be a coincidence, but I'm not too sure. I see where people are, coming up with conspiracy theories. I get it. You guys, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button right here in the upper right-hand corner. Hit that subscribe button. Yeah. I'm loving it, though. We've been getting way more subscribers, and it's been quite a pleasure just being able to speak with everybody on here, and that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to keep on building up this brand, and the brand is based on diarrhea, essentially. This show is a little bit diarrhea. It's a little bit funk. It's a little bit sexy. And Dog Eat Dog is one of my main guys. Dog Eat Dog is my boy. So Eagle, I think. Okay, so I don't want to explain. I don't even want to say what Dog Eat Dog is saying in fear that I will get banned and suspended from YouTube. It's one of those. It's basically a slight, if you know what I mean, at a certain group. Yeah, I would. Eagle, I'm not going to explain it on here. You'll have to look up what Dog Eat Dog is talking about. Because yeah, YouTube tends to be dicks to creators who, it's one of those things that I tread lightly on because I know sometimes YouTube likes to bully smaller creators a little bit. So yeah, but yeah, just look up what Dog Eat Dog was saying, and you'll soon find out what he means, which group he's talking about. I'm not even gonna highlight that one. But I appreciate your enthusiasm, Dog Eat Dog. It's good man, sure. Let's see. Well, the weather's looking all right. It's definitely cloudy. It's raining where I'm at. Yeah, it's getting a little colder. I definitely gotta put on my jacket here in a little bit. I'm probably gonna put on my some sort of jacket. I do gotta take a piss here in a second, though. Hold on. Oh shit, Bitcoin, my click coin. Yeah, I'll sell one more for $29. We'll try to sell one more. I gotta do one more limit sell, you guys. Hold on. Let's do a limit order. And continue one for 29. We'll do 29. Damn, dude. If it wasn't for SBIT, man, dude, SBIT is the best. Can I just tell everybody? If you bet against Bitcoin, SBIT is so beautiful. It's keeping my portfolio up. It's keeping it beautiful. I bought a whole bunch of Vanguard Total World Index as well. So I decided to start swing trading the VT instead of the AOR. AOR just doesn't have the price swings that I need. I need a little bit of volatility. So I think Eagle, I think you could put 2 and 2 together. I think you could put 2 and 2 together. Just there we go. Give me a few moments, folks. I heard something about titties. Oh, yeah. I love my blue shirts, man. It's funny. I guess it's funny because I vote red, but I wear blue. See, I vote. I wear blue shirts so I could share my pride of voting for Joe Biden. Because I love Joe Biden. He's number one. I love Joe Biden. He's lots of fun. I love Joe Biden all day and all night. I love Joe Biden because he makes my pants feel tight. Oh, the chat itself, people can actually say anything they want in chat. The thing is, it's me talking about certain things on my show that you guys could talk about whatever you guys want to. You guys could say anything you want in chat. It could be obscene. It doesn't affect my channel negatively. But the only thing that affects my channel negatively is if I start like quoting some really, really screwed up shit in the chat. Like if I quote it. Like I'll look at a comment and be like, I'm not saying that live on air. I'm just not. I don't feel like risking my status on YouTube. But you guys can do whatever you want in the chat. You guys can talk amongst yourselves. You guys can say whatever you want. I'm not responsible for what anybody else talks about, you know? Everybody talks about whatever they want, man. So my boy Steven Crowder, I can't remember who did it first. It was either Charlie Kirk or Steven Crowder. I think they both kind of started doing the whole college debate thing at the same time. But I'm glad that Crowder's bringing it back. It's pretty dope. I was thinking about going to the SWAT campus with a fold-out table one of these times, just fold-out table and just kind of in honor of Charlie Kirk and just putting a big poster that says "Big Government Sucks," because that was actually his first. The first time he did college debates was well before he was big. He just brought a fold-out table and he had a piece of cardboard that he taped to the side of the fold-out table that just says "Big Government Sucks, debate me" or something like that. And or just said "Big Government Sucks," and then people came up to him and said, "Why do you think big government sucks?" and stuff like that. And then they started debating, and that's that. So it would be fun to do that and live stream that in honor of Charlie. You know, because I really do think that big government sucks. Big federal government blows. Eagle, I'm just going to say this real quick. It's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. We all know what the administrative office would say. In fact, they'd probably target me and kick me off campus regardless, even if they approved it. Sometimes it's better to just do things unannounced, find a nice place on the campus lawn, fold out that table. Hey, worst case scenario, campus security kicks me off the premise. That's the worst case scenario. And the worst case scenario is I would have to make it to where if I were to do it, it would have to be at a time that nobody knew I was coming. You know what I mean? I'd have to, the fold-out table, boop. I'd sit down. I'd probably have a piece of cardboard out that says "Big Government Sucks." And, that'd be fun to do, though. Because honestly, I really do think big government sucks, and a lot of people that go to college seem to think that the bigger the government, the better. But honestly, they don't realize the bigger the government, the more problems it causes. And, so I think it'd be fun. So if anybody wanted to plot any wrongdoing against me, then they wouldn't know because I would just bring a fold-out table. That's true. Yeah, as long as it's like, here's the thing that scares me about modern college kids a little bit is how radicalized they become. So I'm pretty sure like a lot of them would probably want to hurt me. You know, I mean, I would have to be smart about it. You know, I'd be setting up the table somewhere in one of the lawn areas. But yeah, really, the whole idea is maybe during one of the school days, I just kind of sit out there and see what happens. You know, I'll bring my notepad. I'll probably just bring a notepad and a piece of paper, you know, notepad and a pen, you know. Just kind of do my thing. Oh no, dude! I don't know. Actually, now here's the thing, man. I really do think college kids. That's funny. No, I think here's the thing. College kids are. They're quick to get angry. I mean, I'm quick to get angry too. So our anger levels are pretty matched when it comes to college kids. So, but here's the thing, man. Whether people realize it or not, big government does suck. And I want to hear why people, I want to see the people who actually think big government's a good thing. I want to, because I'm really more curious about how ludicrous the argument is for big government when there's proof positive throughout history that big governments tend to be shitty governments. Small governments tend to stay out of people's way and let the free market do its thing. Dude, that would be funny. I could say that I'm LGBTQ mega. I could wear my mega hat and I could wear like rainbow flags and stuff like that. That'd be funny. Dude, Brad. Dude, I've never seen Brad this animated before. Brad, are you okay? Brad does not look. Brad lacking, baby. This guy's the biggest fan of my show. I'm pretty sure Brad's a big fan. As the old saying goes, I want to say this right now. People don't call me, as I'm quoting somebody, Blair White. People, and I'll say this in context of me, people don't call me fascist because I actually am one, because I'm not. People don't call me fascist because I am one. People call me fascist so they have an excuse to harm me. I'm going to repeat that. People don't actually call me fascist because I am one. People call me fascist so they have an excuse to do harm to me. Because the word Nazi and fascist seem to be two words that I hear all the time. Also racist. So stupid. You're racist, you're fascist, you're sexist. You're a Nazi. You're a Nazi. It's like, dude, ugh. Gross. Gross. Stop it. Stop it. You know what I mean? This is dumb. But no, it's one of those things that, you know, at the end of the day, one thing I notice is that people can call me whatever they want to call me. It doesn't mean that it's true. Is, because I know what is true about me. The irony is, I'm the least fascist person you're ever going to meet. I don't want to control anybody. In fact, I want people to do what they do, but I'm still going to call people stupid or smart if I think they're stupid or smart. I usually criticize an idea more than I criticize the person. For instance, I criticize communism and socialism quite a bit. I don't actually demean the people who believe in it. I just believe the ideas in themselves are just bad ideas. So. Nah, it's all good, man. I get you. Pip, no comment. I'm 14% Pip. I'm 14% Aztec based on my brother's 23andMe. Now, we talking about the natives? Because if we're talking about natives, I'm 14% Aztec based on my brother's 23andMe. And I say brother. Brother. Oh. I don't know. I've got mixed feelings. Pip, I'm just going to tell you this. I got mixed feelings to answer your question. I feel it's a coin toss. It's a coin toss, my brony brother. But I appreciate it. The only church I promote is the Church of Scientology. And I don't really promote it at all, to be honest. I really just love Tom Cruise, and whatever Tom Cruise does, I just kind of follow. So whatever the Book of Dianetics says is basically true. Look, China already hated us. Russia already can't stand us. India is probably on that way. I don't know. BRICS. Who is B in BRICS? Because we got Russia, India, China. B. Trying to remember the acronym. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Either way, they don't like the dollar. Who doesn't? The dollar. All currency's worthless anyway because nobody backs their currencies anymore with gold or anything of value. So it's like, what the frick is the point, man? Oh, Brazil, right. So Brazil, Russia, India, and China. Okay. China. Let's see. I don't know. I mean, I'm not too sure what the result is. I think, tariffs like taxes, people get used to it. For example, tariffs are just basically a tax. It's really what a tariff is for the most part. Yeah, and the thing is, people get used to taxes, so other countries can get used to the tariffs. Big whoop. I think we get overtaxed on the federal level. So, Federal income tax technically shouldn't exist, but it was implemented, I think, what was it, during like 1940s or something. Federal income tax was not meant to last forever, but of course, just like any government that gets bigger and bigger, federal income tax became prevalent and was never removed. But I think the only countries you should be really afraid of at this moment would probably be China and Russia. India's getting pretty big, so I mean, India you should probably fear as well. But I mean, there are other countries with other resources. It just depends, man. I will say to everybody on here, so there's a huge advantage to the after hours market if you just do limit sells. Like, so whenever I'm selling, I love to sell in the after hours because you get to kind of name your price and people will buy it. People will buy your shares at higher prices, which is crazy. I pull that off all the time. It's kind of a little dirty secret, I guess. After hours trading can be advantageous as long as you do limit sells and you're relatively patient. America has become increasingly dependent on those pharmaceuticals. Let's see. Oh, I was just selling some of my SBIT. SBIT went up like crazy because Bitcoin crashed. So we process almost as much petroleum through Venezuela to Brazil as we do actual petroleum within our own country. Yeah. I think the goal really at the end of the day is to become more energy independent. I think if America can be energy independent, I think that'll be crucial. There's still plenty of places where we could drill, baby, drill. Yeah. I mean, I look at it this way. If they want to do an alliance with each other, have at it. Because the thing is, what do all those countries that you listed have in common? They're all led by dictatorial leaders. Don't fool yourself. China is basically ran by a dictatorship. Russia is a dictatorship. India, I have no idea how their government operates. I don't ever pay attention to them. Brazil, they're just as bad. They don't have they have a government, obviously, but it's not the best. I mean, these are all countries that have crappy governments that don't really give their people that much free. They give them freedom, but like to some degree. China's pretty bad. Russia sucks. I can't stand Russia. I think it's good. Stay away from the toxic countries. Even if they have minerals and resources, I mean, there's other countries out there that we can work with. We don't have to work with these countries. Karina says India is the world's largest democracy. They're a democracy? Ugh. See, the problem with democracies is they tend to fail really, really hard. Democracies are not good. I think representative republics are a better idea. Because here's the problem with democracies. Majority rule, as I always say, leads to mob rule very quickly. I hate it when people say that on the federal level. People are like, democracy dies in darkness. Democracy. No, democracy is not a good thing, especially on the federal level. It just isn't. Because what the problem with democracy is, people want change rapidly when change needs to occur slowly. Not all change is good change, by the way. Quick shout out, okay? We don't want quick change. We want gradual change. That matters. Gradual change is the key, my friends. Democracy leads to mob rule, dude. That's why, dude, why do you think our founding fathers intentionally left it out of the documents? Eagle, you're combining two bad ideas. I mean, look, you can multiply a negative number and it equals a positive in multiplication, but you can't do the same thing. You can't just combine democracy and socialism together. You're taking two bad ideas and expecting them to be a good one. I think that if you combine two bad ideas, you just create an even worse idea. Democratic socialism's terrible. It's shitty. Then here's the problem. Majority rule is everybody's going to start thinking, everybody starts voting for free shit. That's the problem with democratic socialism. Because everybody's like, okay, well, I want this for free. I want this for free. No, I want this for free. Then everybody starts saying, we want everything for free. We don't want to do anything. I think, honestly, socialism breeds laziness. Democracy breeds mob rule. If you combine lazy with mob rule, you get a shit sandwich. Because you take two shitty ideas and you combine them together, you just create garbage. The only time socialist principles need to be implemented is for people who actually are like in a bad position. If somebody's in a bad position and they need welfare, they need welfare. I'm okay with paying taxes for that. But socialism on a massive scale, on a very massive scale, is dangerous treading. And yeah, not a fan of that. No, I think collectivism's a bad thing. And you combine democracy, which is another form of collectivism. You combine socialism, another form of collectivism, two collectivist ideas. And you create a shit show. You create a shitstorm. I mean, how many democratic socialist countries, if any, you're taking two bad ideas that have been around for a long time and thinking that because... I still don't understand how anybody believes in either of those. Like, I believe in democracy at the state level, you know, because democracy on the state level is more manageable. Democracy on the federal level, though, that is not manageable in any way, shape, or form because there's too many hands in the pot at that point. I mean, okay, what studies? Like I said, I still don't trust a lot of studies anymore because a lot of these studies are funded by probably people who want socialism to happen, you know? That governments that want their people to be dependent on the state, you know? So they can control the people. Well, yeah. The reason they pay people to live in Alaska, basically. Which I don't know why anybody would want to live in Alaska. Screw that. I know there's some people out there, but... But yeah, you can give me a couple of examples where socialism works on a small scale, but can you give me examples where it works on a large scale? This is my problem with your argument, Mr. Eagle, is you give me these examples on a smaller scale, but can you give me examples where it worked on a larger scale? And the problem is, it's very few and far between. And even the ones that do work, it only works for a short term. It's a short-term solution that breeds a longer-term problem. Those are still on a smaller scale, though. And what about entire nations? Entire nations that adopt socialism and democracy. Give it enough time. Give it maybe a few years. 11, 20, you name it. I look at socialist countries the same way that I look at the WNBA. The NBA is an individualist capitalist country subsidizing the socialist country of the WNBA. The WNBA doesn't make any profit. The WNBA doesn't actually bring home anything. What I'm trying to say is, in comparison, if you want an analogy, democratic socialist countries, or democracy or social, whatever you want to put in there, whatever label, you can put either, it's fine. But here's the problem. Socialist countries are basically the WNBA, and countries that don't do socialism or any stupid collectivist bullshit, they're basically the NBA. The NBA is basically covering the WNBA. In subsidies. So it's like the net result is that socialism and communism just are stupid ideas. They just don't work. Collectivism doesn't work with people. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's the third largest country by mass, but they don't have a large populace. Sorry, they don't have... Canada's cold. Canada does not have a super large populace, though. It may be the largest by land mass. And by the way, the reason that Canada can hold on its own... and also, Canada's not socialist, whether we like to admit that or not. Canada likes to act like it's socialist, but it's not. In fact, I'm going to actually look that up. Is Canada actually socialist? Now, Canada has a lot of rich materials... but let's see, is Canada socialist? Canada is not a socialist country, though it does include many socialist policies and programs within its mixed market economy. In a socialist system, the government controls the means of production, the factories, the equipment, and other resources used to produce goods. We don't want that. In contrast, Canada's economy is primarily capitalist. Exactly. That's why Canada has not become a total hellhole, with most industries owned and operated by private businesses. Very good. That's the way it should be. Because centralized control of production is the stupidest idea. This is why I cannot stand Karl Marx, and I've never understood this. Why you would give government any control of the means of production, ever. Such a bad idea, dude. However, Canada is also considered a social democracy. Ew. Gross. Meaning it combines a capitalist system with government-run social programs. This approach is defined by the following characteristics. Government intervention. The federal government regulates and supports important areas like healthcare and education. All right, well, that's cool. Public and private sectors, key services like hospitals and public schools often fall under government ownerships. Ooh, no. That's... Ooh, I don't like that, actually. I don't like the idea of government owning hospitals. It's already bad enough that governments in the U.S. control schools, like public schools and stuff. And look how bad public education is. I don't know. I don't trust that. Dude, 50% tax? You kidding me? That's robbery, dude. I don't trust the government enough to give them 50% of my earnings at all. I don't trust the government that much, dude. I just believe that big government breeds big incompetencies. And also the left hand barely knows what the right hand's doing in big government. Hell no. Hell to the no. Most of our hospitals are the same way, even if you don't like it. How are our... Well, hold on. For example, is Bay Area Hospital owned by the government? No, it's not. Let's see, and then we have Canada, which is the third. Let's see, hold on. It has socialized medicine and socialized education. The only thing it's lacking is a base wage, and then you're really approaching communism more than socialism. It's only from actual earnings. Have a 30% from the state and a 15% from federal. Let's see. Then yeah, no, I still think, I honestly can't. One of the reasons why I'm glad I write off my miles is it counts, because I write off my miles for content creation all the time, legally, of course, because I'm always making content, and thank goodness. So I really, my income on, because this is all 1099 work, basically. Anytime I get income from this, it's luckily written off, so the tax man doesn't get to take it towards the end of the year. Can I tell you something, Eagle? Here's the thing. This is why I don't get about the socialist communist mindset, and I want you to enlighten me a little bit on this. Why does there always have to be so many rules and regulations? Why does the government have to be so involved? Like, one of the reasons why we have more medicine than ever is because of our capitalistic society. If we were not a capitalistic society where human beings didn't have incentives, we wouldn't have half of the miracle creations that we have today. We wouldn't have technological marvels. Because in a socialist and communist society, creativity is frowned upon. Status quo is encouraged and creativity is frowned upon. Because status quo means the group remains intact. This is one of my big... I've always had a big problem with socialism and communism. I think both are just really, really bad ideas and rotten to the core. On paper, they seem fair, but in practice and through analysis of history, they're just the most unfair systems in the world. Oh no, I'm actually not a fan of my problem is the U.S. with how big our government is. I don't like the fact that our government has more control. I want the federal government to have less control of things. Honestly, people should be afraid of the government getting bigger. If you're fine with the government getting bigger, you know what? It's a level of ignorance that you can live with. But damn, I will never understand why people would want big government when there's so much proof that big government is just bad. It's bad for you. I mean that, man. I'm not even joking. People think I'm exaggerating when I say that. I'm not. I think big government sucks. I'll never understand the appeal of big government for sure. It's a weird one, man. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the big beautiful bill, by the way. Look, more government, more problems. That's the basic motto. I think bills, I agree with Elon that if you're going to put out a bill, it's got to be thin, it's got to be understandable, and it's got to make it to where the government's not doing too much. The problem is everybody wants the government to do all these things when the government should not, by the way. The government is incompetent. We should be... What we need to encourage, everybody needs to encourage each other to be maybe more entrepreneurial, create a business, make an attempt. Hell, even if the business goes bankrupt, at least you tried, you know. And look, I mean, things are getting... We live in the most technologically advanced time that we could ever imagine, which is crazy to me. And, yeah, that's the way I see it, man. It's how I see it. Pimp in the box. But yeah, I just don't want it. I just don't want it. So like, let's say we do elect the wrong president or whatever. You don't want the executive branch to have that much power. You just don't. I actually like it when the executive branch has some power to do what it needs to do, but there needs to be restrictions in every branch of government, for sure. But I do got to let you guys go. My girlfriend is going to be off work here pretty soon. We're gonna go get a bite to eat for a bit, and then I may do a live video later today. I'm pretty sure I'm not, but if I do, I'll see you guys later. If I don't, which is more likely, I won't see you guys later on here. But thank you, Mr. Eagle. Yeah, I'm passionately, like, that's the one thing on this channel that I passionately will argue for is basically against is, like I said, the more I study socialist and communist principles and the more I try to understand it, the more I'm just like, ugh. Because once you understand something, you can have more of the ability to judge it either negatively or positively. And sometimes an idea, especially throughout history, if it's been implemented so many times, it comes to a point to where an idea is just a bad idea. Right? And, yeah. Oh, thank you, Mr. Eagle. Appreciate it. But yeah, I'm just going to... Yeah, at the end of the day, I'm just... Look, are there flaws in capitalism? Sure. But I think there's far more holes to pick through with communism and socialism. While capitalism's not perfect, an overdose of... I really do consider socialism and communism to be like hard liquor. You know, 1 or 2 shots can get you that nice little feeling that you need. But once you start getting a little too much in your system, it gets pretty bad. So, you know, that's the way I treat those two concepts. But anyway, I'll catch you guys later. I could go on and on about this, but have fun, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Eagle. And thank you, everybody else. Thank you, Brad. Brad, my boy on here. And Dog Eat Dog. Good to see you. I'll hopefully see you guys later on this YouTubes, but